school can be a challenging experience for some people. What would you do if it was hard for you to go to school? Well, I was one of those people. I used to go to school in 2018, back then when I was in second grade. And it was then that I went through a trial. I was overcome by a fear of going inside of school and began crying. And it began to happen often, and so there were days that I wouldn't go to school because of this overwhelming fear. One day, when I was late to school, the teacher finally asked my mom why I was arriving at school so late. My mom explained to the teacher that I was having a difficult time going into school. The teacher offered to wait outside for me and walk me in. One day, when I was almost at school, I finally thought the fear was gone. But the fear overcame me again, worse than ever. There was nothing that would calm me down. Finally, I went inside, but it was a really difficult day for me. My mom had always hated leaving me in this situation, so it was hard for the both of us. That same day, my mom and dad had a serious talk about finding a way to help me. That night, my mom taught me a verse that she learned from my grandpa, and that verse was Joshua 1:9. My mom had chosen to share this verse with me because she thought it would help me the most. It reads, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Joshua was the leader of the Israelites after Moses, and God told him this to encourage him. Once I began to memorize it, I finally began to understand it. What God was telling me was a command. It doesn't matter where I am or how scared I am. I have to act with faith and trust, knowing that He is with me. The pastor's daughter from my home church homeschooled her kids since they were born, and she encouraged my mom to do the same. From that day forward, my mom began to do some research about homeschooling, since she didn't know much about it at that time. She was unsure whether to do it or not since she had no experience, and my dad had some second thoughts about this too. He wasn't sure if it was the best option since he had never heard of it either. Once he finally thought it was going to be a good option, the COVID pandemic hit, and my parents thought it was the perfect time to start. And so that year, my mom began to homeschool us. My family now thinks it was the best decision they could have ever made. Now I know God was trying to teach me about His power through prayer. From that day forward, that verse became a part of my life. It doesn't matter where I am, He's always with me. That school situation wasn't the only time I used this verse. I still use it a lot. Even when my mom drives on the highway, or even when I play piano at my home church, I declare Joshua 1:9, and I see how the fear just disappears. Do you have a favorite Bible verse? If not, I encourage you to find one because it can help you the way it did for me. Thank you.